Dallas here as well. If it's okay with everybody, I think I'll just take 3 minutes maybe, see if anybody else comes in. But from the looks of it, it looks like there is a quorum from the board. And then, so, Dallas, how are you? We start school next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Very good, thank you.
I'm better than I deserve, Dallas. I'm better than I deserve.
I just watched one of the most thrilling football games I've watched in a long time. My father, mother went to TCU, and my grandfather was a geology professor at TCU, and they just won a game in overtime, and it was quite something to watch.
Wow. TCU. Sheesh.
Titan Christian Horned Frogs.
How's Walker and Ryder?
They are doing quite well. Ryder got to play in snow for the first time that he remembers. It was great. We got here. We got about 5 inches of snow, got to go sledding and build a snowman, and he really enjoyed himself. And then it snowed 2 more times, and he couldn't care less. So it's good. He realizes the wonderful benefit of living in Guam. You don't have to shovel sunshine. So
Yeah, there you go.
but they send their love.
Well, can't wait to see them next week. So I think we'll just go ahead and start, if that, because especially with Mr. Elliott being up at 1 a.m, don't want to take too much of his time. We were pretty straightforward. If everybody can kindly mute, so we are already live, and I'll go ahead. Sorry, just let me admit one more person. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I call this meeting of the Business and Technology Academy Charter School Board of Trustees to order. Today is Wednesday, December 31st, 2025, New Year's Eve. The time is 4:03 p.m. This meeting is conducted virtually and in accordance with the Guam Open Government Law, Title V, Guam Code Annotated, Chapter 8, Subsection 8105, and is being live streamed on our YouTube, which could also be accessed through our Facebook. I'll go ahead and do attendance. There must be 3 voting board members. So the chairman, Baltazar Atalig, is not present. Roki Matanani, present.
Present.
Dr. Roseanne Jones,
Present.
Mr. Dan Guerrero,
Present.
Miss Anne-Marie Munya is not here. For the record, a quorum of the Board of Trustees is present. My name is Dylan Sablon, Principal of Business and Technology Academy Charter School, and I'm presiding over this meeting as the authorized designee of the board. I'm going to start off, given that it is New Year's Eve and we're going to be into the new year in a few hours. Just to give a little bit of a rundown of some of the major highlights from this previous year. So as everybody should probably know by now, in May of 2025, we received accreditation through the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. A very, very big milestone for the school, done in a very short amount of time. And so this will last us through the school year 2027, 2028. We really cannot understate the significance of what this, what we did here, because we did have seniors graduating, and we did have 2 graduations in June and 1 in July. I think a total of 7 individuals graduating from BTACS. We will, going forward, only have 1 graduation ceremony at the end. So I'll also be sending the dates, important dates, to everybody and sharing it with the whole community. Our enrollment from last December, we were hovering around 58, increasing, decreasing as we went. Today, we are hovering at around 175. So a very, very big jump in our enrollment. starting even as far back as March. And once the accreditation came around and that news went out, a flood of individuals and of students started to come in from really everywhere. And as part of this report, I will formalize this report and send it to all the board members and even post it on our website for the community to view. And it will have more detailed statistics and demographics of who our students are. We have done some school-wide assessments. We did 2 rounds, one in November of 2024 and another one in January 2025. We wanted to do the assessments again and during this school year in the first semester, but there was a lot of moving things going on, and so we have it scheduled for next week, January 7th, 8th, and 9th. And our school-wide assessments are through the College Board AccuPlacer. We test students on their reading, writing, and math skills. I will also share the results with it as part of that formal report. It is something you kind of would expect. Students were kind of at the levels of where the DOE students are. So it kind of mirrors that. But those were not really reflections of our instruction or our curriculum, because this was done pretty early and towards the middle part of the first school year. So we'll get a better idea of whether things that we're doing here are working once we collect the results of next week's testing. Our internship program has really grown. We started this in January. We have had a lot of partner companies and organizations. Some of them, we had not really issues or anything, but just things to improve on. But some of the more, the ones we kind of want to highlight, especially our Asia Pacific Airlines. We have an MOU with Atkins Crow Guam, the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, Guam Sustainable Culture, Tech Evo, Guam Museum, Aztec Marketing, Junior Achievement, and Title Guarantee. And 2 of my colleagues here at BTACS, Mr. Joshua Miller, who's from Junior Achievement, and Miss Miracle Mughal, they are both working, and this list is actually going to expand for the next term. So just so that everybody's aware, all juniors and seniors are required to do these internships, and select sophomores could be eligible as well. They have to apply with the school, and if they meet the standards and we are impressed with their application, then we will find them a company if there's room or the capacity to have them. And even so, I was also in Nashville earlier this month, attending the ACTE conference, and a lot of good things there. I will be presenting on what transpired next week to the faculty and employees. But one of the highlights there was the NAF work-based learning materials that I was able to have conversations with representatives there. And so we're not really going to call it an internship program anymore going forward. We're going to refer to it as a work-based learning program. And it's going to largely be structured off of the evaluations and CTE standards and partner feedback forms and all of those things that are provided through the NAF. So Mr. Joshua Miller is the main person working on that. And I think that's wraps it up for the internships. For the MOUs that we've had, we do have several, I want to say 5 that are currently being drafted right now with a few companies and organizations here on Guam. Some of them are tied to internships, others are tied to actual in-class instruction. So we have MOUs that we signed this year with Harao Academy Charter School, Junior Achievement Guam, Guam Style, Atkins Crow Guam, and Waldorf University. This Waldorf University MOU was signed when we were in Orlando and met with representatives there. We have communicated to the BTACS community what sort of benefits they can get by being part of our community and pursuing their education through Waldorf for courses at extremely discounted rates and earning those credits through an accredited university. I could provide more information on that. I'm not sure how many of our students have, or if any, have done any dual enrollment with Waldorf, but this will also be posted on our website. We have added new career clusters, which are agriculture and healthcare. And again, the healthcare, we have an MOU currently being drafted in the works as it relates to a clinic here on Guam, helping us with the instruction from Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, as well as placing students in work-based learning opportunities in the healthcare industry. Engineering, maybe I'll just note it here, accounting and banking. Now, these three, we haven't removed them, but they are accounting and banking. There is no critical mass of students who are interested in either of these two fields. And so we don't feel inclined to go and try looking for a teacher when the interest is not there. There's definitely an interest in engineering, but finding a good instructor has proven very difficult. I mean, there's a lot of good instructors, but those who can commit the time, it's been a challenge, as well as finding a company that would intern. There's been more concerns with having students at engineering sites and engineering firms for safety reasons, all sorts of things. So this has been a challenge, but it's not to say that we're removing them. We still poll the students to see if any of them would like to be a part of these fields, but accounting and banking are consistently among the lowest ranked when it comes to what our students want to do. This year, we also launched our athletics program, starting with the cross-country team and bowling team in the first quarter, sports, and then in the second quarter, we had soccer. Mr. Joshua Cepeda is our athletic director. He previously worked under Doug Palmer at the University of Guam. He's very big in the athletics community here with his hand in Dedido Islanders, the former Dedido Heat, and also with the Tennis Academy of Guam. So he is also a marketing instructor as well here at BTACS, but he is our athletic director. I don't want to put our team down because they did really, really well, even though we did not win anything. But good job to them, Dallas. Maybe next year we'll win a soccer match. So thank you for coming out and trying, though. We have, as part of what we're trying to do at BTACS, we really want our kids to learn these global skills, but we also really want them to be exposed to things outside of Guam and outside of Micronesia. And so we actually have a partnership with Omiyakita High School Saitama in the works. They are a super science school. Mr. Jonah Cruz and I visited them in October, and they were very, very interested in our school. And in fact, in November of next year, 2026, they will be sending about 300 students to Guam, and they are going to come and visit BTACS for about 4 or 5 hours in the month of November of 2026. We also went, as part of the class that I taught this past semester, which is State and Territorial Government. State and Territorial Government is a class based off of a class I took at the University of Guam. I'm a political science major, and so that's the senior level social studies that we offer here. I mean, there is elements of U.S. government, but also we want to make sure they're knowledgeable about the government here on Guam and in the CNMI. And so as part of learning more about U.S. territories, we actually took a trip one day in November to the CNMI. We visited Marianas High School, and we also had the opportunity to meet with the governor, David Apatang, the lieutenant governor, the members of the CNMI legislature. I do want to thank Joe Mesa from the Business and Technology Endowment Foundation for everything he did to put those things together. So those are some of the big highlights that we can look at, and not to say that we definitely weren't without our challenges. With the explosion in our enrollment that we saw, challenges are going to come with more students. We've had to hire more people. We're offering more programs, more opportunities. But so far, everything is, I want to say, going well. I don't have a trove of parents complaining to us about what we're doing. However, we can acknowledge that we could do a better job in terms of our internal structures and communication. And so I guess those are things on our New Year's resolutions as a school. Does anybody on the board have any questions or comments about anything I said in the principal's report?
No comment from me. Great job throughout the year.
Thank you. If there's no other comments, then we'll proceed with the next.
Dylan, just one question on the enrollment process. So just seeing that the numbers have doubled from the numbers you showed, maybe almost tripled in a sense. Do we have like a formal committee on like an enrollment recruitment squad or anything like that to maybe perhaps increase the population, or is it just based on what we're doing with our social media and stuff of that nature?
No, so actually, we don't really call it a committee, but we do have this, group of our colleagues here at BTACS that include myself, Mr. Jonah Cruz, Mr. Joshua Miller, and Mr. Jared Ramos. And all of us sort of work together to sort of package the things that we're doing right and put it out there. So Jonah, all of those nice videos that you see on Instagram, those are Mr. Jonah Cruz. All of the back end sort of things, like making sure that those are boosted and, the ones where you see on Instagram, like you're not following us, but you still see it. Those back end stuff are Mr. Joshua Miller, and he does that through the Instagram and Facebook. And Mr. Jared Ramos is handling the website. So this is sort of the core team that we have of people, making sure that we're going out there and getting BTACS in everybody's mind. And I think we've done a pretty good job looking at the statistics of people on Guam. Of course, I think because we haven't reached our cap, right? I think we haven't reached our cap largely because of us still being new. Like, yes, we got accredited. Yes, you see all these nice things, but there's still that element of being the new guy on the block. And people probably want to see a little bit more as the years or the months go by. Actually, we have our own internal discussions right now of what sort of will be our strategy within the next month or two, because January to May is when we start really pushing out our marketing efforts, especially towards incoming freshmen, because we probably expect that that's going to be our next big group of students. So that's, to answer your question, yes, we have that group that's absolutely focused on that.
Right, and currently our cap is at 200 right now?
Yes, per the budget that was passed, it is at 200. So we have about 20.
So we're kind of close to that. And as far as like, we don't have any sort of, and let's say a schedule or something to meet up with like middle schoolers or the 8th graders and kind of recruiting in that fashion where we go out and actually visit the schools? No.
So we do actually have that. We don't have the schedule of dates yet because we're still waiting to hear back. And I think a lot of people are just on Christmas break, right? But we plan on doing the same thing we did last year. We went to, even St. Anthony let us, in their archdiocese school. We went to St. Anthony, we went to BMS, we went to Jose Rios, Estumbo Middle School. And man, if you were there and if Mr. Jonah Cruz was the one presenting and the main person, those students were floored as to what we were presenting on. We wanted to go to some other schools, but some difficulties and red tape just sort of turned us away from wanting to do that. But we're hoping we can go to more schools within the next coming months. So we're probably going to start this again definitely in January.
All right, thanks, Dylan.
Okay. Next item on the agenda will be update on audits. So this is the first time BTACS is going to go through the audit process. I believe the deadline is in February. We're working with Ernst & Young. Right now, we are really just in the process of, they tell us what documents they need and we give it to them. And our finance person, Kella Hernandez, is the one principally in charge of communicating with the representatives from Ernst & Young. The only update I can give right now is that we were supposed to have a status update meeting with Ernst & Young and OPA earlier this month. It actually got pushed to yesterday, but For whatever reason, E&Y had to postpone. So we were ready to give and to be a part of the status updates. We were online, but unfortunately the meeting had to be postponed again. I haven't heard back yet from E&Y when the next meeting date will be. But that's as far as I can give in terms of an update on the audits. We're doing our best to comply with all of their requests. Of course, the first school year is going to have some challenges, and especially when there was a leadership change within the first year. So that's the update I could give right now. Are there any questions or discussion regarding the audits?
Just in the interim, if something does become available, Dylan, if you can just share it with the board members.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. Yeah, moving forward, audit updates, they'll be received and noted for the record, and the board will definitely be aware. Now, on the agenda, there is the item of reimbursements. However, I would like to table this part of the agenda for when our chairman of the board and our finance person can join the meeting, just so that they can be roped in. So I don't really have any reimbursements to present at the moment or to approve. So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to table this for the next board meeting, and we'll discuss the next board meeting date later on in this meeting.
Right. I think it's important to note that as just so the board and everybody, the visitors can be aware of that, the main I guess contributors to the success of BTACS from the get-go, from the onset, was the involvement with the endowment foundation. I believe this is what we're talking about for the reimbursements.
Mhm.
And I don't know if there's other vendors involved at this point, or if direct contacts were made from BTACS or through the BTEF. So again, yeah, I think it's prudent that we have our chairman for this board, and then also maybe a representative from BTEF to kind of so we can have at least a visibility of what's happening.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we'll table this for the next time if there are no objections. Perhaps we can now move on to some of the board governance motions. So next item on the agenda is a governance action to vote in a parent representative to the Board of Trustees. I would like to nominate as a non-voting member of the board, Mr. Harry Elliott, as the parent representative of the Board of Trustees. Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to vote in Mr. Elliott as or actually before we get there, Mr. Elliott, if you'd like to discuss a little bit more and talk about who you are and why you chose the school for your sons?
Sure. Alpha Day, everybody. My name is Harry Elliott, Harry Walker Elliott the Fourth. For those of you who may not be aware, I have two children, two boys, Harry Walker Elliott the Fifth, who goes by Walker, who is a junior at BTACS, and my youngest son, Ryder, who is 13, who is a freshman at BTACS. And the reason I chose BTACS was pretty simple. It offered what my children needed. It was it is an organization that is focused on the development of the whole human. It very much aligned with my personal values and offered opportunities that we were looking for. And I won't go into great detail, but the very first day we stepped foot into BTACS, the then principal told us a story about a student who was facing some very serious issues. And at any other school on Guam, and perhaps most schools in the rest of the world, the actions that had taken place would have been probably the last day that child stepped foot on a campus. But what the principal told me was that's not how they approached it. They reached out to the family and they wanted to be part of making sure that this child was cared for and was loved and got the help that they needed. They didn't have to share that story. They didn't have to share that story with me, but it really struck me to the core. That's exactly how I try to live my life. And I've watched BTACS grow at a rocket ship pace in the time that I've been involved with it, a little over a year. And it is a tremendous honor to be asked to be a parent representative to this board. And if selected, I will do my very best to advocate for the parents of all the students to the best of my ability. And I will do my very best to provide whatever knowledge and strengths that I have to serve not just my children, but all the children of BTACS. So thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Harry, I have one. Thank you. Thank you so much. And may I ask if it's what's your professional background, just to see what we can, if there's any
Sure.
overt benefit we can receive from
Yeah.
Elliot the Fourth, is it? The third?
Yes, the fourth. I apologize. I didn't talk anything about myself. So by way of background, I am originally from Abilene, Texas. Went to the United States Merchant Marine Academy. I have a third mate unlimited any ocean license for driving ships, a 1,600-ton limited master's license. I worked for a member of Congress for a few years in Washington, D.C. Graduated from the Catholic University of America with a Juris Doctorate. I've been a lawyer for almost 20 years now, primarily with the United States government. A captain in the United States Navy Reserve. Currently work both for Joint Region Marianas and Joint Task Force Micronesia. For Joint Region Marianas, I am an environmental attorney. For Joint Task Force Micronesia, I am the general counsel. I travel a lot throughout Micronesia, and I like to say that I'm an American by birth, a Texan by the grace of God, and I choose to call the Mariana Islands home. I am a proud adopted son of the Mariana Islands, and I don't know that there is any place I've ever been that felt more like home than the place that I choose to call home today. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I guess you had me at hello.
I'll add two quick things. Number one, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And number two, I was blessed to be selected by United States Indo-Pacific Command to attend the Harvard Program for Leadership Development, which I completed the first phase of last year and will be completing the second phase of this year. And one of the things that I do want to work with BTACS is to get entree not just into Harvard, but also into the other Ivy League and East Coast schools. So whatever connections I can help bring. I just had one of my PLD cohort mates in Guam. We just missed each other, but he works for Apple and he's going to be back. And I promise you the next time he's back on Guam, we'll have him at BTACS. Whether you vote me in or not, he's going to come.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so before we get into anything, I just apologize. I'm trying to juggle this Google Meet a little bit, but I do want to recognize Miss Bernice Cawthon and Miss Liz Calvo, both of whom are members, president and vice president of our PTSO. So thank you both for joining us. And as I mentioned earlier, Dallas is the student representative to the PTSO. So they're great, all of them. They really do so much and support the school. So thank you for everything you guys do and for being here. Is there a motion to vote in Mr. Walker as a parent member of the Board of Trustees?
Aye.
Okay. So, all right. Um, from the board, can I see one?
I'll go ahead and second your nomination. Or you're
Okay.
actually we're voting on it already, right? Not
No,
nominating.
not. So if it has been moved and seconded, is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 It's pretty unanimous to me. All those opposed say nay. Okay. The motion carries. Mr. Walker is voted in as a parent member of the Board of Trustees. Please note that this appointment is subject to verification of eligibility and compliance with applicable bylaws, charter requirements, and policies. Mr. Walker, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Trust me, I'm a government lawyer. I'm here to help. I appreciate it very much, and I will do my best to serve. Thank you.
Absolutely. The next governance item is the timing of the election of board officers. I would like to recommend that we defer the election of officers to either January or February, but we can discuss the next board meeting after this, only because the chairman of the board is not here. So would any board member like to make a motion to defer the election of board officers?
So moved.
Anyone second?
I second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say nay.
Nay. You said in favor. Nay.
All those opposed, I don't know. I think I'm just 5 o'clock. I'm the only one here on campus. But
That's you're
okay.
doing that teacher thing of making sure we were paying attention.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Okay, so current officers shall continue to serve until successors are duly elected. Next item is regarding the board meeting frequency and the authority to call special meetings. Short discussion on how often our board would like to meet. Board members, would you prefer quarterly or bi-monthly? And what sort of days and times do you have in mind?
Dylan, if I may just interject, maybe we should just check the bylaws and see what are the requirements of the meeting requirements, and we just gotta meet that. Correct? That's what we're trying to resolve here.
I think right now it's quarterly, right?
Yes, it's currently quarterly.
I would vote just to follow the requirements in the bylaws, and then if there's any special meetings that need to be held, then we can just do that on a as needed basis.
Miss Miracle, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here. Do you have anything to include?
No, if the board is okay to move forward with quarterly, then you could probably move ahead for the special meetings amendment that you wanted to create.
Oh, okay. All right, so if we're all good with moving on a quarterly basis, then we would like to discuss special meetings and maybe establishing a clear process for calling special meetings so that we can all meet our responsibilities. And working in a school, especially here at BTACS, there's a lot of dynamic timelines that may require board action outside of the quarterly schedule that we're going to move forward with if we continue with that. Some things are a little time sensitive, especially those that are regarding compliance, grants, funding, contractual approvals. And so with that explanation, is there any motion regarding the authority to call special meetings of the Board of Trustees?
So I just have a quick question about that. Is the impetus behind that I guess my point is, what is the desired trigger mechanism for that? In other words, is this, if there is a need for a short notice or special meeting, is that something that's going to come to your attention as the principal? I guess I'm trying to figure out how do you want to initiate the special meeting process? Could any board member initiate a special meeting upon request, or is this something that you want to be able to call as the principal? What is your desire?
Would I be able to add some context to that,
Please.
principal?
Yes.
So I think the idea here was any board member, the school administrator, or the principal, as long as it's in regards to a large decision when it on behalf of the school or impacting the school.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have no objection to that.
So I guess,
Are we going to require any like public notices for those special meetings, or if in fact there's a difference between a special or an emergency meeting for those particular items you mentioned?
so Ms. Miracle, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the idea here, right, in accordance with the open government law, 24 to 48 hours public notice for these special meetings.
Oh, no, notice within the board, but I will defer to the lawyer on the chat or on the call as well. But I know 24 to 48 hours amongst internally, but a report that comes from the meeting always has to be reported publicly during the board meetings. So there may not be a need to make it public unless it is something that impacts fiscal audits or anything larger that is noted within the chapter itself, and that's something we may have to dive into further.
Yeah, I would say make sure we get the details in place before we have any agreement onto how we announce special meetings or emergency meetings. That way, we're not breaking any open government laws to that effect.
So maybe then, if we all agree, and especially now that Mr. Elliott has been voted on as the parent representative, that we'll maybe look into this a little bit more and table it for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. And I would only add that perhaps for the next meeting, and I'll be happy to collaborate with somebody, but drafting a actual proposal to review, we could draft something up based on the feedback that we have from this meeting, and make sure that that gets passed by somebody that is a Open Government Act expert, so that we ensure we're compliant, and then have that ready for the next meeting. I think if that sounds reasonable, and I'll be happy to help partner with somebody on that.
Okay. If there are no objections, then we'll table this for the next meeting, do our own research, and we'll move on to the next item. There is nothing in the agenda that says open discussion, but we do have 11 people here, so I would like to take this time for open discussion. If anybody would like to share some remarks, provide any concerns or questions, please feel free to raise your hand and you'll be recognized. Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the team for all the progress thus far, Dylan. I think you guys are doing an outstanding job. Don't want your efforts to go unnoticed.
Thank you so much, sir. That does mean a lot. And on behalf of the whole team, thank you for those words. Anybody else? Any remarks, concerns, questions? Going once. Going twice.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get my hand raised. This is Eric. Doing this off of my phone. I apologize. I want to add my own note of praise to the team for everything that has been accomplished. One thing that I hope that I can help bring, and Dr. Jones and I have talked about this before, but I think the opportunity of the school to be a real beacon for not just Guam, but for the Micronesian region is high. The potential is there. And the successes that we have had to date and I say we because I'm proud to be a part of it, are impressive. What I hope I can help bring, and what I want to do is set that pathway for sustained success up. What is it that we need to be thinking about, not in the next 6 months, but in the next 2 years and in the next 5 years, so that our pathway to sustained success is clearly identified and we are all pulling the oars in the right direction. Because like I said earlier, it's been a rocket ship. And what I hope I can help bring is making sure we don't just burn out, that we achieve orbit and we become that North Star for our community. So it's great to be a part of this team. Thank you to everybody on this call, everybody on your staff, Dylan. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to continuing to support and work with you guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elliott, for those words. They really do mean a lot, and I know there's none of our teachers aside from Mr. Cruz are here, but it is really a whole team effort. It's not my victory. It's not Mr. Richard Guerrero's victory or the board's victory. This is the victory for the whole community. And so before I entertain any motions to adjourn, I do want to just say thank you all for coming and for your attendance. And yeah, there is always that concern, right, of we've been growing at such a fast pace, what feels really like a rocket ship. I've had a lot of sleepless nights this year. So part of my New Year's resolution is to hopefully get more sleep every night. We don't want to burn out, but we are absolutely committed to making sure, like you said, we achieve that steady orbit and we're on a direction to the moon and not just drifting mindlessly in space. And so I have my own personal resolutions that I'll keep to myself, but they're all to help me become a better person for our students and for the whole community, because we recognize we're not perfect. And so all the members of the board, thank you for bearing with me as well. It's been my first time as a principal this past year, but with the help of Miss Miracle and the rest of my team, you'll be hearing a lot more from me. You might even get annoyed by me. And so, because I just want to be able to share all of the challenges and especially all of the victories that we are definitely going to have in this next year. So thank you to all of you for everything that you've done and all of the support. And most especially, thank you to you, Dallas, and to all of your colleagues who are your peers, the fellow students of yours, for everything you guys do every day and for bearing with me as your principal and your teachers in the classroom. With that being said, if there is no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anybody second? Okay, I see it. With that said, this meeting is adjourned at 4:44 p.m. Thank you all for coming on New Year's Eve. Please have a safe evening, and let's all ride into the new year with our heads held high and optimism everywhere. So thank you all, and have a good evening. See you next year.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.